You know, the Obama first-time home buyers, like, hey, Obama said he's going to give me $8,000 if I buy a house. I'm going to be honest.
He's upset over there. He's not having it.
I mean, football and basketball and baseball
yes.
will always be around as like America's top sports.
I mean, they're putting AI technology in football helmets now, so it's like
$70,000 for down payment assist.
Up to $75,000.
Do you know? Okay, because I'm thinking of moving.
Well, 30s is the new 20s.
It is.
You just have money now.
You're still bones, right?
Yeah, the 250-pound man smacking you. So.
Gabi pupusas, panes con pollo, un budín.
Talking about language right now.
I was telling someone the other day, I'm like, oh yeah, my name is Alejandra. Now you have a reason to roll your R's.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to Weekly Deposits episode 4.
We're on 4, ladies and
Episode 4, Return of the Realtor. We have a special guest with us today. We're going to introduce her and talk to her a little bit about what her career is, a little bit about her. Her name is Alejandra Martinez. We are very happy to have you here, very excited.
We are.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we want to get to know a little bit more about Alejandra Martinez, but what her career is, what her hobby is, what she likes to do, and hopefully kind of give the audience a little bit more insight into you and what you like and what your career is too, because it's a very close correlation and related to real estate.
Yes.
So I guess we'll start by introducing everyone here first. You guys already know Julian Scott, and Jason Gonzalez, our team here at Superior Realty Group and the Weekly Deposit podcast. So Alejandra, I'll let you kind of take it over. Start wherever you want to start.
Let's dive in.
Just dive in.
Nice job at rolling your R's. So, I was telling someone the other day, I'm like, oh yeah, my name is Alejandra. Now you have a reason to roll your R's.
I like that. You gotta keep it in check.
Viva the whole Spanish community, because they taught me that. Because if it wasn't for them, I would not.
Yeah, we like it when you roll your R's and
Yes.
put in that effort.
Thank
it
you.
means a lot to us.
Yes.
It does.
Okay, so I'm a loan officer. Mm-hmm. I work with Edge Home Finance, so I'm a mortgage broker. Mm-hmm. And well, I'm also Latina, as you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm originally from El Salvador. Mm-hmm. I was born there, and then my parents came here when I was 11. Mm-hmm. So I've been here for a while.
Nice.
Straight to Minnesota.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Straight to Minnesota.
The weather change was probably El Salvador's weather is very
Tropical.
Yes. Okay.
So
So that's probably why you don't like the cold.
Where'd you grow up here in Minnesota?
well, I would say St. Paul, but my parents used to move a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to live in Brooklyn Park.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I went to Plymouth Middle School. I went to Armstrong High School. in
Oh,
Plymouth.
Armstrong. Okay.
So you know the whole city.
Yeah, and then my parents decided to move to South St. Paul. And so I went to South St. Paul High School for 2 years.
Really?
then-
Okay.
Yeah, and then my stepdad was like, oh, yeah, gas prices are so expensive. We have to move closer to my job, which is all the way to White Bear Lake. So, yeah, they've moved me schools. I still here. But that was a cultural thing. You know, I know that he wasn't trying to be mean. For him, it was more like, oh, we have to save money.
Right.
You know,
Of
gas
course.
is expensive, da-da-da. But obviously, I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was so mad at him.
Yeah, that's a hike.
Yeah. So, there were only like 5 Latinos. And the class was 700 people plus.
Oh, wow.
More than 700.
In White Bear Lake?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I
So did
stood out a lot.
Did you flourish though, or was it like?
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm gonna embrace it.
Yeah,
If I'm
that's
gonna
good.
be
Yeah.
here, I'm not gonna be miserable. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna, take advantage of it. I joined the yearbook, and
Awesome.
that was really fun because they give you like a pass, an ID, and you can go to all the games for free.
Nice.
I did that
So-
too. I was a part of the newspaper,
Okay.
the school newspaper.
Were there a lot of Latinos at South St. Paul?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. At that time, there were Latinos. Maybe I would say
What year, if you don't mind me asking?
that was back in 2005.
05? Okay, because I went to, it's now Two Rivers, but I went to Sibley, and that's in
okay.
our conference. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't remember seeing, and then we had our school had a lot of Latinos in it as well. So that's what I was thinking, like, South St. Paul had Latinos there, or no? Or
Yeah, no, yeah, and everyone knew each other too. So I loved it there. I was having the time of my life.
Were you in your element, you would say?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's like, was that
I was
what?
like more people my color, because I was in Armstrong High School, and that was also
You got tons of friends, probably just the sadness.
You know, I was mad at my stepdad for a long time until like the last few months. Because as soon as I started posting on Facebook that I'm a loan officer, all my friends from like all over the cities were reaching out to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know so many people. And I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at my dad anymore. I'm all right.
That's awesome. So it helps.
So at the end of the day, it helped me, So sometimes we don't understand why things are happening. Yes. But if you stay positive and know that, you come from a good heart and you never do any harm to anybody, good things will come back to you.
Yep.
Amen.
So just agree with that.
Real quick too, just wanted to ask, I know you mentioned you turned into a loan officer and then all your friends started to notice that. What do you do on social media to make people notice you?
I've been posting videos and a lot of graphics.
Okay.
And I try to educate my community, I would say, because, I grew up here. My parents are immigrants, and they didn't know anything about finances.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I had a tough time, my early 20s. I did a lot of reckless things financially.
Like a lot of us.
I think we all,
Yeah.
Don't feel bad saying that. We all have.
And if you're not saying that, I think that's
be real.
Be real about it.
Real. Come on now.
Maxed out credit cards.
I was like, oh, what's the next trip? No, but I knew I was going to have fun in my 20s, and then I was going to get my shit together in my 30s. Like, that was my goal. I'm like, I'm going to have as much fun as I can. You only live once. Well,
30s is the new 20s.
It is.
You just have money now.
You're so young. You're so young.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I've heard from.
30s are more fun, I'll tell you that. Because now you have money.
Exactly.
So you enjoy life. You're more mature.
More money, more problems, though.
That's what Drake said.
Yeah, that's true.
String on the problems.
Yeah. And for me, it was very important to have fun in my 20s because, I come from a Latino community, and I knew a lot of girls in my community that got pregnant when they were young. And, I saw them struggling, and I had a tough time with that because I went to high school with some of them and I saw their struggle. And my mom too, like she got married and then her husband became her life, and she just disconnected from herself in a sense. And I was like, I don't want that for me. I just want to have fun. Right. I want to enjoy life. And, I grew up Christian too. So my parents were very strict. Right. Very, very
religious.
Strict. Very religious. Yes. Super duper. And
Catholic?
No, Christian, but it's Protestant.
Oh.
Kind of. It's a cult. I'm going to make a video about that.
Okay.
For me, it was very traumatizing because they don't let you do a lot of things, and women are the sin, and they use a lot of shame. They use a lot of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Very like.
Could you celebrate holidays and all that? Because like Jehovah, you can't.
So here's the thing: my stepdad used to be a Jehovah's Witness, and then he turned into a Protestant, and then he didn't believe. Yeah, he didn't believe in Christmas. He didn't believe in Thanksgiving. Tough. He didn't believe in a lot of things. Yeah. And that was very tough because we couldn't have a Christmas tree. Yeah. So I was already different. I'm like, I already have an accent. I'm from El Salvador, and I don't celebrate Christmas. And it was trifecta. Like.
That's tough. And you see everyone, like, especially here in America where Christmas is big.
Yeah.
Like the day after Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, like everything. Yeah. And when you can't celebrate that, it's kind of like.
It's super sad. And then like the kids next day.
I've never celebrated Christmas. I've always been that kid looking outside from the window, inside, like all the kids like opening presents. And I'm like,
I feel that. I feel that. That's how my childhood
That
was.
hurts as a kid.
And I didn't want to go back to school, after winter break because I was like, oh, they're all going to be talking about what they got for Christmas.
Yeah.
What did you get? I'm like,
nothing.
nothing.
Do you think that may have like
I got the day off.
Yeah.
Do you think that may have contributed to like you like taking your 20s and just like I'm gonna have the most fun?
Yeah, hell
like,
yeah. I'm
you're
like,
just
nobody's gonna tell me
traumatized.
anything.
Yeah.
I'm independent. I pay my own bills. I travel. I do whatever I want, and nobody says anything to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me that was very important to accomplish, and I did it for me, myself, and nobody else.
So how did this all lead you to loan officing?
Being a lender.
Yeah, edge home financing, everything like that. How did that path lead you to there?
I would say
Because I think you were in the finance world before.
I was working with an insurance brokerage.
Correct.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
So I started in my 20s, early 20s. I was 20 years old. And I worked for an insurance agent. I'm not going to say the company.
Yeah.
We're not going to promote him. And yeah, so that's where I started. But she was paying me nothing.
Garbage.
She was paying me with a 1099, $9 an hour. And I was doing everything, no commissions.
How many hours were you working a week?
I was working like over 40. And sometimes they had like events on Saturdays and I would go.
Yeah, you got to work them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
And yeah, it was tough, but I didn't know. I was just having fun. I'm like, I'm an insurance company. But I was so naive. I didn't know what was happening. So yeah, I worked there for a while, and then I got a job at a photography company. They did videos and they also did pictures. So I worked there for a while. So I learned how to edit videos and do a lot of fun stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, that was like my creative side. I think I have a creative side. I like to be creative. I like colors.
And you use that photography and that video experience now with your business?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Like everything has come together for me now. Like all the
Yeah.
skills that
to
I've
hear that.
accumulated throughout the years of my life, I've been able to put them all together now, and it comes so natural to me because I've done it for so long. I just didn't have like a purpose or like a mindset of where to use it. And now that I do, it's like, okay, I'm all in.
Yep.
And nobody's going to stop me.
Yes.
I'm like a train, like, going really fast.
I love that.
That's wonderful. And then you got into, when you became a loan officer, was it directly into edge home financing? Or was there another?
No, I worked. So when I was in the insurance company, I saw all the loan officers, because they would refer people, and I just saw that they were living the life. I was like, oh my gosh, they're very smart, and I felt I always admire the people that I met because they were just so centered and so well put together. I don't know. I loved it.
What years, if you don't mind me asking, did you see them living the life? Was it like 07 to 2010?
No.
Because a lot of them were living the life. The reality hit.
Well, maybe it was the people I mean, the ones I met, I feel like they're very successful.
Yeah. I'm joking, by the way.
We might have to edit that part out. So no, that
We
was
don't
like
have the budget for editing. Everything is as it is.
no, that was like 2014.
Okay.
2015.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's when I
Starting to
started
pick
to
back
network more.
Yeah, it did pick up then. Yeah.
Yeah, so then they did a lot of networking events, and I would go. I always had fun. I love meeting people. I think I'm very social. I love like getting to know the other person. Like I want to pick on your brain, and I want to know what's inside of your thoughts.
Yes.
So I like to connect with people in that sense. So it came natural to me, and I met a lot of people there. And then it came an opportunity where, this loan officer, they were like, oh yeah, we're looking for Hispanic or like Spanish speaking loan officers because there's a need in the market.
Yeah.
You know?
It still is.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my chance. I'm going to take it. And, they helped me out. I was working during the day, and then I would come home, and I didn't have a life. I would just study. I would come home, study until like midnight. And
that test is hard to pass. A lot of people think that the real estate test is hard to take. But I've heard the lender one is even harder.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, I heard
it's
it's
a lot
even
of math.
harder.
You have to like memorize like a lot of things.
Yeah.
And
How much square feet is in an acreage?
Oh God, let's do it.
anyway, so
Passed.
yeah. What was your question again? No.
What? Oh, here. What would you say? Because you did say you were with another lender before.
Oh yeah. So I started with SunWest Mortgage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I worked there for a little bit.
SunWest. What is it?
Yeah, it's not Sunrise. It's SunWest.
SunWest.
Yes.
Are they local here or are they somewhere?
California.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we were like their only branch in Minnesota.
Oh, gotcha.
But then, I had this deal going on, and someone else, they shopped us around, and they got a better deal somewhere else. And I was mad, and they were like, oh yeah, we're going to go over there. But we had already done the appraisal and everything. So I was like, okay, that's fine. It is what it is. Not going to be mad.
Business
There's going to be
world,
more business.
It happens.
So then this loan officer calls me, right? Hey, is there any way you can help us, transfer the appraisal over and da-da-da. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll do it, da-da-da. And that was nice. And I was like, I think I was very professional.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, so how do you like working there? Because we're hiring. And I was like, how much do you pay?
Good question.
And I realized that they have better rates, which is the company where I'm working at right now, Edge Home Finance. They have the ability to shop people around, and they ended up having my clients with us. They were going to have a higher interest rate, and they needed to make a bigger down payment. And with Edge Home Finance, it was going to be a way lower interest rate and a lower down payment. I was like, how did you do that?
Well, tell us a little bit about Edge Home Financing, because they're a little bit different than your regular lenders that you meet here through, Cross Country or Envoy or whatever the mortgage company may be. Tell us a little bit about Edge Home Financing and how they're different than your typical lenders.
So I would say because we're brokers, we have 30 plus lenders.
So let's explain that, for our viewers and listeners. What does the term broker mean? So explain that, whereas that's different than the other lenders. They are not per se brokers.
Yeah. So a broker means it's just a person that's going to be shopping around for you. So instead of you having to shop around and apply at different lenders, give your information over and over again, you just give it to me, and then I'll do all the shopping for you. So you don't have to stress out and,
Similar to an insurance broker who takes your information, then shops all the big State Farms, Geico, et cetera, Progressive.
Yeah.
Then they find the best deal for you, and then they come. So
yeah.
like you
and
said, there's a little
I
bit
used
more
to do
work
that
on
too
the
because I
agent's
was
part.
at insurance brokerage.
Yep.
So it was easy for me to transition to a mortgage broker. Plus, when I saw that they have better deals than the ones I was providing, I was like, okay, no, I have to move.
Yeah. Plus, you have more options, right? Like you said, you go through 30 different lenders, so you kind of shop around to get the best for your client.
Exactly.
Whether that be interest rate, whether that be down payment. And I've worked with Edge a few times, and they have gotten a lot of people approved that were denied by another mortgage lender.
Or their bank, like Wells Fargo or U.S.
Those
Bank.
are tough to.
Those are tough too.
qualify.
Yeah, those are probably the toughest. But I think the nice thing about Edge Home is a lot of people who were on that cusp are sometimes get denied by a specific lender. I mean, I've had one who, what is it, GRH?
With what?
The lender, GRH, is it called GRH?
Yeah.
Guaranteed rate.
Guaranteed rate. Yep.
So I
And
had
they're pretty big here in Minnesota.
Yep. So I had a client go through guaranteed rate, and they're like, oh, you're not approved. You need to do X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. In a few months, come back. That same client, the next day, I send them over to Edge Home Financing, and they got them approved, and we're closing next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think that's, some of the stuff where I really tend to like Edge Home, because it's, if one out of the 30 they go through, if one lender says no, then they just go to the next one. And eventually between the 1 and 30, you will get one who approves you.
Yeah. I had a client that was right on the cusp of 620 credit score and sent him over to Edge, and he was denied by at least three lenders, and working with him for over a year. And he was at the end of his ropes. He's just like, I don't think it's in the cards for me to buy a house.
So sad.
Sent him over to Edge, and he closed, and right when he got approved in less than 45 days.
Oh yeah,
So it does help with going with mortgage brokers like you, because if option A doesn't work, or option one, you can go to B, C. We're gonna figure something out for you to get in the door of buying your first house.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing.
And that's something you should be like used to. It should be like a habit. Like you should always be shopping.
Yeah.
Right.
And brokers are happier overall versus other bankers, because other bankers, then they have to go to an office and report to a boss, and they're like more stressed out. They have to meet their quotas.
Yeah.
Versus a broker, it's our own business, so we're our own bosses. We're happier, you know.
There you go.
To piggyback off what Jason said, shopping around. Unfortunately, I think it was prior to 2008. You could shop around, but every time your credit would take a hit when they ran the credit for mortgage. Post 08, they said that you can shop around, and then they give you a time window where your credit only gets hit once off that first initial check with a lender.
Yep.
Yeah.
Within that time frame, then you can run the credit again, as long as it's mortgage applications, not like a car or something different.
Right.
Yeah, because you're not taking out debt yet. You're just inquiring.
So it's time to make it a practice.
I think so. I think it's just it's a shop around too, and you can kind of let's just say you do go to Alejandra and you bring her and say, hey, this other person is willing to give me this rate and this loan terms. Can you match that? And most likely she can find someone who will match that.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Right.
And
then,
probably even lower.
Get it lower
even
too.
lower.
Yeah.
And it's good to have like a point of contact to someone who's local. So some people I know love to get loans, like Loan Depot or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And your loan officer, someone's out of state, or those 1-800 numbers, or it's like so hard to reach. Like the big banks, they work 9 to 5, and after that, do not call me, do not text me. Whereas you have someone like you, where you can call her, text her, any time of the day. No,
No, literally. Last night I was working until like midnight.
Until midnight? What's the
Yeah.
latest that you take, like call? I mean, maybe not calls for you, but emails and text messages.
Honestly,
We get the calls as agents.
Honestly, if there's a deal on the table, I'm a hustler, so I will answer.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have a cutoff? Like you don't say like, hey, I'm
I
only
mean-
available from this time to this time.
If I'm feeling burned out,
Yeah.
I have to start setting boundaries, and I do. But if I'm having a good time and I'm mentally okay,
Yes.
then I'll answer and I'll take it. Or if I need a break, I'll let you know. I'll be like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to get back to you today. Is it okay if I get back to you tomorrow?
Yeah.
So communication is key.
That's the biggest thing in our industry.
Yeah.
It's like communication. A lot of things can be settled or just handled up front if you can just communicate.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So you just express yourself, and
Right.
most people are understanding. I don't think
Yeah.
I've had anyone that has been mean
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the people that are, it's just kind of like, like I'm not working at midnight
Yeah.
every single day or like 1 o'clock in the morning when you're up.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I like I said at the beginning, I'm very social and I like to connect with people. So then,
Yes.
the people I work with, I consider them my friends. I
Yes.
treat them like they're my friends. I treat them with dignity and respect. And I'm like, hey, how's your day going?
Right.
And then so that it makes it not feel dreadful.
Transactional.
Well,
It feels
transactional.
supernatural because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm talking to my friend. Hey, how's
Right.
it going? Hey, I need you to send me this.
So if you feel like your loan officer is transactional, you need to find somebody that's going to get you on a personal level. to understand you and your situation. So I think that's awesome. You're on the right track for that.
Yeah. And another thing that's very important to me is to educate my people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Big,
if you're going to buy a home with me, I will tell you the entire process. And I don't mind telling you because I know how it feels. And I know it's important for you to know what you're getting yourself into because I want to keep doing business with you. You know, in 10 years, or if you have kids and grandkids, maybe eventually, I want them to come to me. I want you to trust me. So.
Well, I think that's so important because, you know, when you brought up the education piece is that with us as being realtors, that people think that we are like all the above, like we handle everything. You know, where a lot of people are like, oh, I have this question about these loan documents or, you know, what's this? Who do I talk to you? They initially come to you first.
Yep, they do.
All the time. Whereas like if you have, and this is also takes our part too, where we need to have like, this is the loan officer, this is the title, this is, you know what I mean? This is the appraiser. So the realtor is just not answering all those questions. You know, where you want to have the loan officer show your like your expertise and all that. Like you come into play like, no, I handle this. I got this straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's interesting that you say that because sometimes I have a hard time explaining what my role is in my community. And they're like, oh, but you're a realtor, right? I'm like, no. I'm a lender. I'm like, I give you the money so you can go shopping.
Well, here's the funny part of that.
Money.
As an immigrant, and sometimes I've dealt with first time home buyers who are immigrants. Do you ever get the people who think like you physically have the money? Like you're gonna go and like open the safe and like here you go.
Yeah.
Sometimes people like they're like, hey, just slide a little bit. I'm like, I don't have 300,000 or whatever I'm like, what?
No, I had this client, he was upset about the rate, rates are increasing, and I'm like, well, this is not something I can control, rates are
they think
this
you
is
control.
the market. I'm like, I mean, you can buy points if you want your rate to go even lower, but I'm already giving you a discount. Like, I don't think you're gonna find anything cheaper. But he was mad at me, like thinking that I was the one controlling it. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Actually, a perfect segue into our next topic, which is a little bit about rates. And I know as a loan officer, you have to be very careful about what you say about the rates and everything. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll speak in a hypothetical here.
Yes.
And everyone will say their opinion of what they think will happen. And now, disclaimer, we don't know the future.
We do not know the future.
Hold on. No, I'm just playing. No, we don't know.
Can you give me that lottery number? I guess I want to start with, let's start with like me, and then we'll go around, and then, you'll go last because you probably have the most knowledge. You see this every day. What do you think rates will go down? Do you think they'll go up? Do you think they're pretty stable? What are you saying?
I think the rates are going to go down
significantly, or just little ticks here and there?
I think it's going to be little ticks in here. Last month we were at 7.1, 7.2 range, and now today where are we at 6.3, 6.4. I mean, this is all depending on credit and all that, just the average.
So a whole percent down.
It's almost going to hit the fives, I believe.
And I've been saying this. Once it hits the fives, we're not getting closing costs paid for anymore.
Right, no.
Those are done. Multiple offers will go back into play, and this is like spring market.
Yep,
this is spring market.
Because supply is still low.
Supply is definitely still low, and then once it gets to like February, March, April, May, then that's when everyone wants to put their home on the market. And if rates are at 5%, even at 5.5%, I think that it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
I bought my house at 4.5 in 2019, so it's not like it's some like crazy number way out there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, so if you bought your house at 4.5 right now, and let's say your family was growing, and you're seeing, you've been watching it all the way up to 7, and you've been looking at like maybe a bigger house for your family. Mm-hmm. Right now is the time to maybe like start looking into moving and making that big move, even though you're still seeing it like higher than 4.5, but it's still like the incentive is there because your circumstances, supersede the rate. And it's still juicy right now. I mean, that 5% is juicy. I mean, compared to the 4.5 to upgrade your house, and
that's an affordable.
It's affordable.
That's
right?
an affordable rate right there.
So
it's not at 5 yet, but yes, I see exactly what you're saying. And I think the thing is, like, if you're making a move, my whole thing is, I don't know if you guys have seen like all those bigger homes per se, 500 plus.
Yeah,
they've been knocking off prices every week. I've been looking at some North Oaks homes.
So
I've been looking at Delwood homes and stuff like that, where they're knocking off 10, 15, 25K every other week. That's so great. The margins are there. So if you can get a good price on the home, you can get good terms, good seller concessions, such as closing costs, et cetera, yes, go for it. Yes, you will have a higher interest rate. But what I tell people all the time is you can change the interest rate down the line. The interest rate can be changed. I changed mine.
Can refinance.
Yes, I can. I changed mine from 4.5 to 2.5. A couple of years later. So that can be changed. What can't be changed is the sales price you agree with the seller, the terms you agree with the seller, the closing costs that you pay up front. All those things cannot be changed. So I always tell people, I'm like, if you can get a pretty sweet deal on the purchase price, the closing costs, and all those terms, take it.
Do it now.
Yes. And because another thing, if you can get a really good closing cost, you can use that towards paying down the interest rate.
Yep. You can buy it down.
Tell us a little bit more about paying down the interest rate. I think a lot of people have brought that up. A lot of loan officers I see online, Facebook, etc. A lot of people talking about buying the points down. But I feel like the average consumer does not know
they don't,
what that
don't
means.
Yeah. So if you buy the rate down from the seller paying closing costs, you can get 2 points lower the first year. Then the second year, 1 point lower. And then there's another one that they do it for a third year. But then after that, it goes back to normal. So it's just temporary.
And so my question,
2-1 buy down, right?
The 2-1 buy down.
Yep, that's a 2-1
There's
buy down.
another option too, though, where you can buy points yourself and your interest rate will go down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So you can buy points.
And is that temporary as well?
No,
too?
that you lock it for 30 years. If you do it that way. So if you're going to spend money,
is there a certain amount you can knock it down? Like if I pay, what is it, like 10,000 per 1%, or what? Is there some arbitrary number?
Maybe this is just an example, okay? Because I can't give you exact numbers.
Yeah, you're not telling me exact.
This is all disclaimers.
It depends. But it might go, if you pay like, let's say $3,000, it might go down 0.5%.
Got
you know?
Okay.
And now if you wanted to go 2% down, it might be like $10,000, $15,000. But I mean, you can buy the rate down. Sometimes it's not worth it because it might take like 10 years before you see your investment. But in regards to the rates, a lot of people are saying that they might go down in the summer.
Yep.
Maybe in the spring.
Once the rates do go down, do you think like the seller side, are they gonna want to entertain that any longer because the rates are down now? And if they do go down, like lower than 5%, like
if they're gonna want to sell their home, or?
Like utilize the 2 down, because the seller is the one that contributes to the buy down of that program, right? Do you think that that's not going to be like in the next 6 months? Do you think that
probably not if you have like 3 offers in there?
It's just like
you might not be able to win it.
It's like more when the interest rates are on the rise, right? Like these options start to come into play.
Yeah, because your home is just sitting there. You're not getting.
There's also
traffic.
like the assumable ones where you can assume, like I think only certain FHA and VA where you can assume the loan. So if someone's selling their house and they have a 2 or 3% interest, it's a little bit more work, but you can assume that loan. So you have that, and then you pay the price between you and the seller. Gotcha. Now, my question to you is, during this buy down the 2-1 or whatever, is it possible to refinance, or you're kind of stuck with that even if the interest rates go down? Let's say you said on the first year is 2, the second year is 1. Let's say in that second year, the interest rates drop significantly, 2-3% more. Am I able to refinance at that point, or am I kind of stuck with this 2-1 buy down right now?
No, you can refinance.
Okay, you're not locked in or anything like that?
Yeah, you're not locked in. That's not a bad trick.
I think it's all about getting creative when it's stuff like this. When the feds, the single reason the feds raise the rates is to stop consumers from buying and everything. So it's a very artificial type thing, right?
And they had to do it. They had to stop inflation.
2% was
kind of.
One thing I wanted to ask.
Like to me,
just a disgusting market.
To me, like I don't want to get down this rabbit hole, but it's like to me, inflation is such a man-made fake thing sometimes. Where it's like a majority. If you look at the inflation numbers, a majority is just corporate greed. It's just corporations taking advantage.
That's fair.
And thing. I don't know if it's fair, but okay.
Fair to say, I mean.
Well, talking about that, I just wanted to, ask, like, the 3-1 arm or like a 15-year, like, like those other options that these buyers might have. Are they coming into play here soon? Like, if interest rates start to go down and
do you recommend those?
Like, what does that look like? Because is it 30-year fix is like the go-to, but.
I mean, it depends on what you want and what your financial situation is.
Yeah.
If you have money, you can probably do an ARM loan because, I mean, after the third year, you'll have to pay it all at once. But you can also refinance. So that's another option that you can do. It depends what you want to do with the home. Do you see yourself living there for a long time? Or do you see it as an investment?
Yeah. Like, what if I'm a buyer and like I'm just like, okay, I have money, right? But like I see that the interest rates rose, and then like I'm anticipating that it's going to drop, and it's going to be lower than 5%. But maybe in the 6 to 8 month time frame, let's say I have a circumstance where I have to buy a house now. Well, how does that look like? Like if I want to switch that out like later on, 6 months from now.
If you want to refinance it. I mean,
like, where would you put me at as far as like at a ARM type of deal, or would it be like a fixed rate for 30 years? What would you recommend? It's just hypothetical too, so it's.
Well, if you're just going to be there for a short period of time, maybe an ARM would be good, because if you're going to sell before the third year is up or before the 5th year is up, then it might make more sense to just pay a lower interest rate at the beginning.
Yep.
Because you're going to sell the house anyways.
Okay.
So you're
That's
not going to
good.
stay there for
The thing with refinancing is, I always tell people, I was like, there's no point of refinancing unless it's 2% or more. Your rates are dropping 2% or more.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of closing costs involved.
That's good for the viewer,
so there's costs involved with refinancing. I just want everyone to know it's not just like, hey, I call up my loan officer. It's like, hey, the rates are down, change my rate. There's closing costs involved with that.
But it comes included in the loan. They'll put it all together. So it won't
either
come
way,
out of your
you'll
money.
correct. So no, they give you a choice.
Yeah.
They give you a choice when you are refinancing that you can roll the closing costs into the loan, or you can pay it. Unlike when you're buying, you have to pay the closing cost. So they do give you that choice, but at the same time, you are still paying it, regardless if you're rolling it into
your
a
money.
loan,
You're paying it.
You're still paying it. So that's the one thing. So that's why I always tell people, I'm like, regardless if it's 6 months, whatever, look at how much savings you can get. So I always tell people 2% or more, 3% is the sweet spot. So if it went from 6 to 3 or 6 to 4, that's when it's like, okay, it's time to refinance. But if it goes from like 6 to 5.5 or 5, there's no point. Because one, you're restarting your loan. Two, you're restarting the 30 years.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're into it a year, 2 years, whatever, that clock restarts.
Yeah, if you're looking to lower your payment, like you said, I think that's...
There's no right or wrong answer here.
Yeah.
There's like, it's all different choices. I have some clients who want to put 20% down, want to get rid of PMI, the private mortgage insurance, want to have a lower monthly payment. Then I have some who want to keep the liquidity, put as minimum down as possible, keep the cash, use that for other investments or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
And
it depends on
that's
your
why
situation.
It does,
too.
but when we start having these dialogues and like your situations, I think it helps the viewers just
of course.
Like,
yeah, or like, I mean,
like go ahead. I'm
no,
sorry.
I didn't mean to cut you out.
No, it's just like no structure is really like, for one structure is not for everybody. It's like not one size fits all. So you have to kind of figure things out and really ask those questions to your mortgage officers. And
yes.
But I just wanted to ask that just because, sometimes we have scenarios and situations where you learn off of those scenarios and situations. And that's why I asked. So, yeah.
Perfect. No, good question. Good question.
Nice.
Is there any home buyers program right now that you feel people should really know about? I think the one big thing I always get, I don't know about you guys, and maybe Julian, because he's been in the industry a little bit longer is I always get the Obama first time. Give me 8,000.
What?
I always get that all the time.
I do too. Really?
Yeah. Back in the day, it was like all the time. You know, the Obama first time home buyers, like, hey, Obama said he's going to give me $8,000 if I buy a house or something like that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Right? Those are those programs.
That is the
stuff
Obama
like
phone.
that. Oh, the Obama
Does that
phone,
come with it
yeah.
too? I actually really did have someone ask me that.
Oh, man.
So
I didn't get
those
any of
long
that.
ago.
Thanks, Obama. Okay. No, but is there any good programs that you feel that would be very beneficial to clients to know about, or something they can research or talk to you about, something where it's maybe for, like you said, the Latino community or other communities, ethnic communities, or
City grants?
city grants, lower
grants.
income people. We want to make, I think at Superior, our main focus is to make home ownership inclusive.
Yes.
Inclusivity,
that.
where it's like everyone has a chance at home ownership, because I think there's some statistic, don't quote me on this, I think it's like 70-something% people are much wealthier when they own a home. Their wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to make for people, who are new to this country or just whatever, generationally, they don't know home ownership, they don't know financing.
Yep.
So do you have any type of program right now where it's like, hey, this is a really great program, they're willing to, pay your closing costs, et cetera, whatever the case may be?
Yeah. I mean, so far at Dyna, I think they have a great program. They have up to $75,000
What?
for first generation home buyers. If you're like the first generation and first time home buyer.
This is the city of Edina.
Yeah. But I mean, you have to meet like their income guidelines and all that. But they have a great. I know. I couldn't believe it. I had to like
70,000?
go to their website. Go to their website. Yeah. Go to the City of Edina. Google City of Edina down payment assistance.
They're willing to do $70,000 for down payment assistance.
Up to 75.
Oh my.
Up to $75,000.
Do you know? Okay. Don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you know what those income limits are? Because I'm thinking of moving.
Yeah, I think it's 80%, not more than 80% of the medium income in that area.
Okay, that's just
So-
pretty high.
I mean, some people make a lot of money there.
They do. Down
But I mean, there's a lot of down payment assistances in
Okay.
Minnesota, and I was surprised about that too, because when I was working with SunWest, we only had like one, and it was Minnesota Housing.
Yep.
But when I came into the mortgage, the broker world, I learned that there's lots more down payment assistance
there's a lot.
throughout the cities, throughout the counties. And there's another one too called Neighbor Works. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No.
Community Keys is another one. And there's a few others. There's another one called Build Wealth. And they also help people like minorities get into a home. There's a lot of down payment assistance. So what I ask my clients is, okay, what area are you looking into buying a home?
Mm-hmm.
And then I go into that county's website, and you can do it yourself. Like Google is a great tool. You can go to Google, down payment assistance in my city, in my county, and you can read all the terms and conditions are there. You can download the PDF file and read through it. Education, knowledge is power. So you have the tools necessary to educate yourself. So you also have to put an effort. You also have to put an initiative. And I mean, if you have more questions, obviously you can reach out to any of us.
Please.
But
Please, we'll set you up.
but it's also important that you also pursue that knowledge, because it is available. It is there. It is public, you guys.
But when someone turns in an application to you, or they're talking to you and stuff, do you also kind of stuff lights up in your head? Like, hey, this person talking to me, he said this income, this area, blah, blah, blah. This might be a great down payment assistance program.
We'll look for it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because I know a lot of these down payment assistance programs, they have a end date because all the money is used up. Earlier this year, I had a client that it was only in East St. Paul, but it was up to $40,000 that they could use in down payment assistance, and that could be used to closing costs as well too. But when I looked it up again, like the application closed, and they only had it open for I think 6 months.
So the money dries up.
Money dries up quick.
Yeah, but there's other down payment assistance
Right.
like Build Wealth, Community Keys.
Okay, that don't have that expiration date.
I mean,
Or do they?
No, so far they haven't run out. I mean, I always double check with them. You know,
Yeah.
like
Right.
as soon as I have a purchase agreement, that now if you have a contract, then you know we can start looking into that, and we'll submit
Okay.
the application. And then I talk to them, and I'm like, hey, do you think we can make this one work? Yes, we have funds for this one, and then they'll guarantee the funds.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, to make sure that they have it by the time you close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to this Edina one because I think that's actually pretty interesting. Now, do they have an expiration date on
I would have to look at their
applications
website.
and all that stuff?
I don't remember. I read it and I haven't seen an expiration date, but maybe
Okay.
we can Google it and
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
For sure.
I think we want to kind of get into some other topics now.
Yeah.
You know, we've
Hot
talked
topics.
We've talked about real estate financing. Unless there's something you want to add onto that.
well, you know, if you have any questions.
What are your social media tags?
Oh, Key Financing Team.
Yep.
Okay.
Instagram, Key Financing Team.
We'll put that in the video.
We'll put that in the video
Yep.
and the
Thank you.
description,
so people
as
can
well,
find
too.
you with all the programs.
Yeah,
and-
I try to educate my followers, you know, what your credit is, you know, composed with, you know, and I talk about what the home buying process is. I do try to use graphics to make it entertaining because I know reading and looking through stuff is boring.
Yes.
And sometimes, you know, I'm a visual person, you know, I like to look at pictures
Yes.
and I'm like, okay, now I understand it. So I like to share what I've been learning and then I try to put it into graphics and then share it with,
I think
with
I
everyone.
think education in regards to credit is huge. Not only for like the immigrant community who don't really understand credit, but also just the lower income community, which I was a part of at one point. Is just hard to know what credit is, how it works, how important it is.
They should teach it in schools.
There's
We're
a lot
gonna
of
have
things
to
they
do
should
another
teach you.
podcast just to talk about finances.
Yes,
Yeah.
we really should. I think it should be taught in schools.
Yes.
Yeah,
know?
there's a
I
lot of
agree.
things I should think they
Trust
should
me,
be taught
now-
in schools.
Oh no,
I didn't know that I didn't know enough about finances until I got into the mortgage world. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I need to learn more.
But I think there should be people shouldn't have to get into the finance world to know the very basics.
Right.
Correct.
Right. They
Yes.
everyone should know how important credit is,
Yes.
how to keep up with your credit, everything like that.
right?
Kind of moving on now to a little bit lighter. Well, depends on
Yeah,
how you take
it
it.
depends on how you take it.
The U.S. men's soccer team played Holland today or Netherlands.
Yeah, Netherlands.
Sorry, I always call it Amsterdam, but it's Netherlands or Holland or the Dutch, whatever you want to call them. And we filmed this and everything after the game. So they did not end up winning. It was 3-1, I believe the final score was.
It was.
Dang.
I was really looking
Yeah.
forward to them winning because I thought they could really beat the Dutch. I was just in Amsterdam a little while ago too, so I don't know if the people there will be happy, but they're on to the next round. Are you keeping up with the World Cup at all? Do you watch it? Do you not care?
I was
for it?
invited to one game to go watch a game. It was Mexico versus I don't know who, but yeah.
How's Mexico doing in the world?
They're
I
out.
think they're out.
They're out.
That's the only game I watched.
I just want to know if you knew.
You're not
Yeah, it's
nice. You're
tough.
not nice. I'll keep it nice for the podcast. You're not nice. You're not nice.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
I gotta
for
poke a
Mexico.
little fun. I mean, it's USA.
It's
We just
banter.
lost too, so.
Oh yeah. No, we just
USA is
lost it.
awesome though. They're on the up and up, and so is like soccer in general. in the
Who's gonna
US.
win?
Yeah.
That was exactly the question I was just about to ask. I was like,
Brazil.
let's put some something on tape, so we all have something. You said Brazil.
Yeah, I think Brazil's gonna.
Brazil. Okay.
Yeah.
Brazil,
Argentina.
Argentina.
I don't know who's left. I'll say Brazil.
It's just the
Brazil.
go-to.
Morocco.
What?
You heard it here first.
In Spanish, Marruecos.
See?
Oh.
See? Say that again.
Marruecos.
I'm not gonna try to say that. So no. My buddy's a huge. He's from Morocco, a huge Moroccan fan. He's out there right now, and so that's why I picked Morocco. Even though if I had to place a bet, I would not place it on Morocco. But no, that's great. I think do you guys ever get excited for the World Cup and stuff, or is it kind of the next one's here? The next one, so the next World Cup is in between Canada, the U.S. and Mexico. So they have two venues in Canada, Toronto and Vancouver. They have, I think, like a few venues here. It's like California, Kansas City, Miami, New York. And then they have 3 in Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico City, and Monterrey. I really want to go to the Monterrey Stadium because it's just like super nice. It looks over mountains and everything. Yeah. But in 2026, that's where the World Cup will be held throughout those 3 countries. So that should be exciting.
Yeah.
I think Alec wants to.
So yeah, that was kind of our World Cup picks. I like it because it's every 4 years, biggest sporting event, everything like that. I know it's not the biggest thing in America. It's not the Super Bowl, but
it's getting there.
Yeah. I think next time it'll be very exciting.
I think it's growing in America.
Yeah.
Because it's now like everywhere you look, it's soccer, and now with the what is it, the state teams now that we have, like the United and LA Galaxy.
So those are club teams,
club teams,
MLS club teams,
MLS club teams. But I think now that people are like, you can go to the games here. They're like, oh, now the World Cup, and now I know about the Premier League, which is basically like the NBA or NFL of like.
Well, I think soccer. Broadcasting, internet has immensely helped the game because now you can go on YouTube, watch your favorite player. You can, watch the games, anywhere. Obviously, there's time zone difference, so there's that.
I'm sorry, football and basketball, but I think soccer's going to take it in the U.S. too.
Might? Who knows?
I mean, Latinos are growing in the U.S.
It's documented.
No.
And a lot of people love soccer.
Football is like.
I don't think so,
from
bro.
the baby of the womb.
We have a soccer stadium in Minnesota now.
You know what's funny,
That's
Julian?
huge.
I agree with you. Football is that, but at one point, baseball was that. Baseball was the American game. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Don't.
It still is.
It still is. But it's not.
Baseball
still
is.
I know, but it's not in terms of revenue, in terms of viewership, everything. It's like football has
football.
Way past. The thing with football to me is like, I just don't know if it will be around in 50 to 100 years.
I agree. All the brain injuries.
The trauma, the stuff. It's like, it just, I think they'll learn more and more. And I don't know how well you can, protect someone in regards to like them football? Getting. Yeah. Because I'm going to be honest.
He's upset over there. He's not having it.
Football and basketball baseball will always be around as like America's top sports.
I mean, they're putting AI technology in football helmets now. So it's like, they're really trying to mitigate that from happening.
But it's like mitigate that from, does the AI stop the block?
No, like the pads will move, like it'll start to learn and anticipate things.
Correct. So you can get better and better at it, but there's another 250 pound man.
There's still bones, right?
Yeah, the 250 pound man smacking you. So it's like, it's just like, you're still going to get hit and your brain's going to rattle. I mean, I've watched a lot of, there's a great neuro doctor named Dr. Emran who does a lot of CAT scans and brain scans and stuff. And he tells us all about like just how easily especially the frontal lobes of your brain can be damaged off of trauma or hits or stuff like that.
Yeah, when you get hit, shit gets real.
Yeah.
I know I got popped once and I'm like, I'm gonna play basketball.
I think it was that Mike Tyson quote, right? Where it's like, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face.
I used to love the football and the hits and everything. I used to crack my face mask just hitting people.
Well, what position did you play?
A middle linebacker, fullback.
Yeah.
So just a lot of hits. Like I lived for that. That was like my thing.
Yeah.
Nah, I played.
It catches up to you later.
I played running back one year and I got
rocked.
I got rocked where like my legs went up in the air.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know about this anymore.
All right. Well, switching topics here a little bit. Me and Julian were reading the other day in regards to social media and everything about TikTok. and how the FBI director recently raised national security about the concerns of TikTok. I know Donald Trump, the old president, also raised these concerns. I know recently, I think it was either North Dakota or South Dakota that has banned TikTok via their governor. They made a state executive order to ban TikTok within the state. And the reason for all of this is do you want to kind of touch on this? Because TikTok is a Chinese company.
Chinese spies
is what they're saying, allegedly. But as a Chinese company who in China, all of the companies are run by the government or overseen by the government because it's a communist state. So the concerns FBI director, ex-presidents, and other lawmakers have is that the data that TikTok acquires and then feeds back to the Chinese government. And I don't think that's my personal biggest concern, because it's like, whatever. What is the Chinese government going to want to know with me or this? Right? Like that to me is like what it because at the flip side, on the flip side too is like you could say the NSA or the
Apple,
US.
Apple has everything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
All these huge tech giants also has all our data. So it's like, okay, I guess one is just the Chinese government, one's the US government. Yeah. But I think the part where I kind of don't like and is very disingenuous is they release TikTok here to us, and then they feed the what is it, the news feed they call it or whatever, the algorithm here is to show nothing but decisive news,
negative
sexual content, just to put girls in bad places, boys, you have to be millionaire, Lambo by the age of 20, this whatever.
Sexist content, racist content, all that
decisive
stuff.
Content.
Yeah, all that stuff is on there.
And I feel they purposely do this because, of course, it's China versus America type thing. It's like a proxy war type. And I feel like most of the new wars will be fought online.
Yes. I agree.
But on the flip side, so they do all that with the TikTok in America. Then they have TikTok in China, which is under a different name.
All censored.
No, and that, so what they push out
none of that. They have none of that.
Yeah, so
our TikTok and China's TikTok is completely different.
Yeah, yes. They learn about math,
education,
how to start a business,
educational. So their algorithm is completely different.
Yeah.
Where it's like ours is decisive, me against you, black against white, rich against poor, whatever the case may be, to make decisive content. Whereas in there, it's like we're all together. It's unity. It's educational. We want our kids to grow up engineers, doctors, like you said, math. Mm-hmm. That to me is like crazy. I'm like, if you're going to run a platform, it needs to be the same everywhere.
Yeah. And did you hear about like some people getting tics from watching TikTok?
Tics?
Yeah,
like
their eye like twitches and like they have like paralysis on their face.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like look it up. It's crazy just from watching
ticks from TikTok.
I thought you meant the bug ticks. I was like, whoa.
No, like their eye like twitches. Like they have like body movements,
like little seizures.
Yeah,
because they've been sitting on there for 5 hours a day,
maybe more. That's the thing.
I mean,
like
I think like just the thing is like for the war on information. Just like if whoever, it's like whoever obtains the most information on whatever geographic area they want to, they're going to be able to predict what you're going to do in the next 10 seconds.
What are you going to buy? What you're going to do? Yeah, exactly. That's the algorithm.
So like that's what the war is. And if we let China, do what they do, I mean, it's no difference in us because there's like our phones listen to us every day, but it's our companies, right, that are listening in, and they don't want those same companies. I mean, they're in bed with the government. From there, they don't want other companies from other countries to also obtain that same information. I mean, Google is Google, and it'll always be Google because they've been doing this for decades on decades on decades, grabbing all your little tiniest information about you, and then in turn that turns into
selling it to other companies.
Email,
exactly.
drives,
Yeah. So like if
everything.
you're, it's like it's like. The war on drugs. You have, gangs, and if you come to my territory, I'm going to start a war. Like, it's the same thing, but in like a bigger scale and corporate.
The algorithm is crazy because, like, I could talk, like me, Alejandra, we could talk right now, and I'm like, man, I've been thinking about getting, winter gloves or something, right? And I just say it to you. I haven't even like really sometimes searched it. And then when I'm like on websites, it's like ads for winter gloves. Yeah, this and that. I'm like,
I know.
Spooky.
So then if like other countries get an intel on that and they can beat us or like American companies to get in your face before American companies that are profiting off of the information, and in turn that turns into a disaster for our security.
Okay, but now that you know all of that, what are you going to do about it?
Oh, it's above me. I'll get killed in
We're
shot.
gonna put a stop to it.
I'm
exposing it. I might get killed in shot.
I don't have TikTok. I don't think you guys. Yeah, I don't think any of us have.
I had to open an account. I didn't want to, but you have one? I have one. No.
Well, I have one. And then there's obviously a bunch of stuff going on with China. Regardless of that, the TikTok thing, because of the whole like COVID lockdowns and stuff they still have, and like the Foxconn, the people who make Apple, they're all rioting. So a bunch of stuff happening there. But I think this is a great segue into, is it a necessary evil, as in social media? Is it something, especially in our industry where we're entrepreneurs, we're trying to create that omnipresence, we're trying to show as many people stuff as possible.
So like,
where's that thin line where it's like,
I think it's not even about us. I think these platforms are put in to obtain that information from us. Like that's the bottom line.
Correct. But here's the thing, like Alejandra said, what are you going to do about it? Right. So there's two things. One is I delete it all and I move on.
Yep.
The other is I'm on it and I, utilize it.
I think if you're patriotic, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that everything in moderation is good for you, and for me, with social media, it's been a love-hate relationship. Mm-hmm. But I do think that you should you should cut it out for a year. You should have a break for a year.
No social media
for a year. Mm-hmm. Some people do like fasting.
I see people that do that, and they make announcements that they're doing it too.
I'm leaving tomorrow.
I don't understand that.
No, but for me, I took a break for a whole year. I didn't have Facebook, Instagram, nothing. And then when I came back, I was like a little hesitant because I get a lot of anxiety being on social media.
I think everyone does.
I cannot be on social media for too long.
I think our age group gets anxiety about that. I don't think, what is it, the Gen Z? They don't. I think
they do, but they're not aware of it.
They're not aware of it. Like with us, like we do. Because some of us are now getting used to being on camera. Where before, like we were like, I don't know if I want to be on camera or not. Yeah. Now I'm talking about the cats that know about MySpace days and all that.
Yeah.
So
I think there's just the traumas that we go through cause that anxiety, like in our personal life, right? Like
but it can trigger you. But the thing is, what I wanted to say was that, yes, all of that can happen, but it also depends who you follow and what you follow.
That's true.
So for me, I stopped following the things that didn't fulfill me mentally and that I didn't, that didn't help me. I'm like, I'm not even going to watch that. That's wasting my time. So I follow a lot of people that talk about finances.
That's good.
That talk about businesses.
Yeah, it's the algorithm.
That talk about like mental health, like all these positive things that are going to help me grow.
That's depositing good information in your brain.
Yes.
So I think we've all,
take care of your brain. Your mental health is very important.
I think we've all come to that anxiety, trying to get rid of social media, this or that. Like, I think it's hard, especially in our industry where we're entrepreneurs and we're not, our business relies on meeting people, getting to know people, people getting to know us, et cetera, stuff like that. It's very hard to showcase that without social media. Yeah. Now, I think another thing I have an issue with social media, especially in our industry, is most people only show the wins, right? And
the W's.
And all of social media. No one's ever going to show you like, hey, I failed at this or that. And that to me creates this false sense of reality, that reality where it's like I told you, to the girls they send the over sexualized stuff. To the boys they send like, hey, you got to be a millionaire at 20 and you got to drive a Lambo and you got to do this and that.
Yeah, if you don't, then you fail.
Yeah, then you're like basically a failure.
Because I follow a lot of like finance people. A lot of them are guys, right?
And a lot of them, I'm sorry to cut you off, but here I hate the finance guys where it's like they use the Lambo to trick into like the other, like the
baiting.
Yeah.
You know what's more important than this Lamborghini? knowledge. Remember that guy, Ty Lopez?
Oh yeah, when he had a garage full of books.
Yeah.
You know, the
Didn't read
whole
one of
reason
them.
why I subscribed to YouTube was because I did not want to watch his ads. He was so annoying.
So
Yeah.
what about the negativity that's, you know, the newsfeed of the negativity? You get away from that, right? Like the
Yeah.
politics or whatever it might be, right, on that side. But then you go into try to save yourself and you go to other pages. But then you have like the finance guys with the Lambos, like all that stuff. That
The people I hate most, the Forex guys.
Yeah. So like
Jesus Christ.
Either way
the
you look at
Forex
it,
guys.
if you look at the spectrum, like either end you go to, you're still gonna be like negative things are still gonna be put in your
Yeah.
head. So where's that happy medium? That's why I think it's just like more of a propaganda
You
thing.
have
It's
to
put
meditate
it
in the
for us.
morning.
Yeah.
Meditate in the morning. That's important.
Meditate in the morning to have a clear mind so you know who you are and you don't lose yourself in social media.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wake up and the first thing they check is their social media.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
because you
Without,
live
like-
a digital world in your
Yeah.
brain, you know, and it's like, no, this is reality.
Yeah.
You're on earth. You're a human being and you're not like,
You're
if
not
you
a
don't take
computer.
care of yourself,
Yeah.
you will suffer consequences.
Well, a lot of people wake up and the first thing they do is either check their social media or check others. So it's like
Instagram.
other people's thoughts and ideas and their life. The first thing your brain is consciously up is that's what feeds it. Instead of
Yes.
you doing your own thing, your own journal, your own meditation, your own workout, everything
You
like
need
that.
to have a
To be
balance.
grounded.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another, just to add to that, like I just see like in my soul, I feel like, you know, we live through life, we go through our experiences, and we're either, you know, we take that as a strength or we take that as like anxiety or a trauma. Same thing is happening on social media. So like as people scroll through every day or every morning as they wake up, it's every single day, it's a habit.
Yeah.
They're going through other people's experiences, not just their own. So like if I'm going to go on my Instagram, I'm going through Emran's page. He might be going through something like maybe he's sharing a video that someone died in a car accident. Now I'm going through the video. Now I look at the video. Now I'm traumatized because now I see somebody else's lens that necessarily shouldn't have been in my life or my frame of thought. So now I'm traumatized in turn, then that turns into, you know, more mental problems down the line. And especially for like the young folks, like the kids and everything coming up through all this, they're seeing all those types of videos and traumatizing themselves through all this stuff, through all the years. It's just, I mean, what can we ask for? A lot of mental issues.
Yeah, but you have to time yourself. Like, be like, okay, I'm only gonna be on social media for 1 hour.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you have to. I remember when I was younger, my parents were like, no, you can only watch TV for 1 hour, and I was like, oh my god, 1 hour. And we have to like discipline ourselves too with our phones.
That's important.
We
But
can.
with that 1 hour though,
But-
what can happen? You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I
What
mean,
can you
not
see
an
within
hour,
that?
or maybe an hour all day, or I don't know. For me, I have to be on social media because I have to post.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
be honest.
your
I'm be
business.
honest with you. In my social media, like if I see, like Alejandra said, like if I see any negativity or someone just complaining or this or that, I just kind of unfollow them. I just
Yeah.
kind of I mute them or this and that. I'm like I don't. I mainly go on social media to look for value content.
Yeah.
Content that will add
And that's
value.
what you should do too.
Or funny memes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about the funny memes?
Social
The
media
funny
can be
memes, of
cool,
course.
you know, if you're an
Yeah.
artist and
Yeah.
you like art, you like to express yourself, you
Yeah.
know, it's a great way to post it and share it with other people.
There's a
people
lot
that you
of great
care
things.
and love,
Yeah.
you know.
There's a lot of
Yes.
great things that social media does.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Connects you with family around the world that you haven't seen. So there's to do a blanket statement that it's evil or good would be wrong.
No, it's not. I've met some
it's
great
good.
people online,
Yeah.
you know, and I've done business with them and
Yep.
we're friends and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's also an area to connect.
So it's
Yeah.
like, what
But
do we
it's in
separate?
it's in moderation. though.
moderation,
You got
with
to
balance.
take it in moderation.
So like
Yes.
there's like the no brain social media thing, right? Sector, and then there's like the business sector where it's like
Yeah.
positive and great, and you know, so it's like there has to draw a line between like
Yeah.
everyday
Yep.
people social
If
media.
you
and then,
spend
like,
more than 8
professionals.
hours on social
Yeah.
media.
8 hours, Jesus.
I mean, you know,
I was
like
that's
there's a lot
full-time
of
job.
people. There's a lot of people that do that. You know,
Yeah.
I've met people, and I'm like,
Unless you're making if you're making money, I understand the 8 hours. But if you're not making money and you're spending 8 hours, then I'm like, I have no idea what.
yes, you're wasting your time, and a lot of people don't realize that
How
because I've
important
seen
time
it.
is.
I'm like that time you could spend it on reading a book, or learning about something new,
Right.
taking a class, meditating, going out for a walk, exercising, gym. And some people are like, I don't have
Probably
time.
not a
I don't
walk
have
today.
time.
Oh, there's plenty of time.
But don't, yeah. But I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. Are you sure? We all have the same 24 hours, you know,
Yeah.
like make sure that
You
you're,
can exercise 1 hour out of the day.
yeah, like you have to be discipline. You have to have a schedule, have goals written down. Like if your mind is not organized, it will show everywhere else.
I know we spoke on this at the beginning a little bit, right? We're going to be wrapping up here. Obviously, it's December, right? It's cold outside, and I know me and you, we spoke about this, and me and you don't celebrate, but Christmas is around the corner. Do you guys have plans? Do you have your shoppings done? And then Alejandra will talk to you. Maybe you've changed. Maybe now you do a Christmas tree since you are now independent without your stepdad and everything. Maybe now you are celebrating Christmas. I know my kid wants to get a Christmas tree and stuff, so stuff like that. But Julian, we'll start with you. Do you have any Christmas plans? Are you done with your shopping? And if not, how much do you have left?
I haven't started yet.
That's the answer.
I'm joking.
That was the answer I was looking for. Sam?
I'm joking. I have started.
Okay.
But no, the Christmas tree's already up. I just go over my mom's house, and and Sam, we go over her parents' house. So we're like kind of splitting between time with Christmas.
Gotcha.
Is
it very similar to Thanksgiving, other than the presents? Just family eating.
It's just
chilling.
family and eating, and we open presents, we get presents for everyone, and that type of deal.
What has been your best present ever? It's a tough question, right? Yeah. I'm vicariously living through you guys and your presents. So
my best present ever. Dang, that's kind of hard, man.
We can come back to you. Like something like where it's like you remember till this day, like, oh man, when I got that present.
Yeah.
I think my best present that I got that I was so happy about when I was a kid was getting that PlayStation 2. Ooh. And that might age me on camera. But that PlayStation 2.
The best PlayStation, by the way.
Yeah, the best. Yeah, that was the best one. But I was pretty geeked for that one.
Yeah, that was.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
That was a crazy time.
Yeah.
What a time.
And I was the first in my neighborhood to get the PlayStation 2. And I just like stunted on all my friends on the block. Everybody I got the PlayStation 2. What'd you get?
I remember like Guitar Heroes was huge on that. I remember Madden 04 was like where you can do the audibles and stuff, and then like NBA 2K.
NBA Live. Back in the day,
they had
that was
live.
NBA Live.
NBA
Live was great too.
Yep, they had live. So I remember the PS2 era. I think again, I'll have to look into this. It's still the highest selling console.
It is.
Ever.
Oh, wow.
PS2 is still the highest selling.
PS2. Jason, your Christmas plans?
We usually celebrate it with my mom at my mom's house. But I might go to Chicago this year.
Okay. You have family there?
We have family there. Mm-hmm. We linked up with them. I actually just, started like picking up, like more family members to like get into like our immediate family events. Mm-hmm. And so we just kind of like mashed up this year. It's not solidified yet, but either way, it's either immediate family at my mom's house or it's going to be Chicago.
You have a pretty big family, or are they pretty? Is it
I have
pretty
a small
tight
family.
knit?
I have a very small family.
Okay,
so probably 6 or 7 of us. I mean, if we put everyone in Minnesota that I have together, I mean we're like 30 deep. But
yeah,
nice.
For family events like Christmas, holidays, and stuff, we keep it small, immediate family only, really. Yeah, and so do they, which is fine. I like it small myself. Yeah, I really do. But other than that, my favorite present that I got was when I was like maybe 5 or 6. So it was the Sega Dreamcast. I woke
you can see how boys are like the games we got.
It was definitely that.
It's nothing like sentimental or anything. It's like the games I got.
That shows my age even more. Than
the Sega Dreamcast was fun too.
That was awesome. My mom surprised me with that, and I was just like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah,
that was like the best morning of my life. So.
Have you finished your shopping for this year?
Ooh, just for my son, but no,
okay.
Honestly. I'll be honest.
And Alejandra, are you planning to do something? Are you not? Are you kind of gonna keep with tradition of not doing it?
Yeah, well, my parents are gonna host it this year. Okay, so here's the other thing. Hold on. Nice. So the thing is with my parents, once my siblings and I, we grew up and we moved out of the house, we kind of gave him crap for not celebrating Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we started celebrating on our own, and we wouldn't invite them.
Yeah.
And then so they're like, okay, fine, we're gonna budge, and we're gonna do it, because they wanted to spend time with us. So it was like, okay, we kind of have to change our ways, because otherwise our kids are not gonna talk to us anymore. So anyway, so my parents, they don't put up a tree, because they don't believe in trees.
Yep.
Or
they don't believe in trees. I love it.
But we're having a dinner at
Okay,
their house,
that's
and
nice.
we're gonna play
What are you
Secret
making?
Santa.
What are you guys
Are
making?
they exchanging gifts?
Yeah.
What are you guys
So-
making?
Hold on.
What are you guys
Yeah,
making?
what are y'all making?
That's a great question. It's gonna be pupusas,
that's so
panes
good.
con pollo,
Ooh.
un budín.
You're talking my language right now.
It's gonna be a feast.
So they don't. Do you guys exchange? Do they get gifts for you guys, and you guys
So-
get gifts for them? Because I feel like that's a little cheating. Like if you're doing the gifts, then you got to do the tree too.
Whatever floats their boat. We
Okay.
kind of had to meet in the middle.
Yeah, be respectful.
Okay.
And now there's kids in the family. And so
Right. Not
Christmas
that.
people. I don't know. I'm outside looking in. Little Timmy over here. No,
It's all right. It's all right, man. It's okay.
no. But what I want to ask: do you feel like a lot of holidays here in America that Christmas has been a little too commercialized, a little
I
too
agree.
like more about the presents, this and that,
Yeah.
that stuff, rather than
The actual
I mean,
meaning of
baby
Christmas.
Jesus.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
born that day.
All kids want from like age 10 to like 17 is
well, you
is
said the
shoes.
PS2, you said the Genesis,
Shoes right now, like
Yeah,
the top shoes.
At least yours was like it's family, this and that. These two guys are like playing Madden. I love it. Have you got your gifts and everything done? Shopping?
No, not yet. I've been busy.
I thought all you guys. Okay, again, like I'm outside looking in, but I thought all you guys like the Black Friday and the Cyber Monday, and that's what it was all for.
No.
No.
That's-
I got my
Or
Apple
you
Watch
guys
on
just
Black Friday, but that's it. I don't really do that in like Black Friday stuff.
And then I'm guessing since you didn't get a lot of, since you didn't celebrate Christmas throughout the years, what was the best gift you did get when you started to celebrate and exchange?
celebrate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. I would say when I started hanging out with my best friend, she would put like a whole box together with like different essentials, things that I would actually
oils and
need.
stuff?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And I
Are
was
you
like,
sure it wasn't a GameCube? No.
No. For me, it was the thought, the time that she put into it,
Yeah.
and the meanings of each present.
You
For
see
me,
that, guys?
was like,
Oh, that's nice.
because
But it ain't no PlayStation 2 though.
Well, I'm not a materialistic person.
That's good.
I don't find happiness on material things.
Yeah.
I find happiness on meanings. I
Yes.
like,
Traveling.
finding the meaning. Oh, I love traveling.
Probably have a whole nother podcast just for all the traveling
Yes,
Yeah.
we should.
Alejandra has done.
I save
should.
my money. I'm very
Frugal.
frugal in that sense, because I'm like, $300. I can buy a plane ticket with that money.
See,
So I rather spend
like
my
that.
money on that kind of stuff.
I like that
you
because
know?
we can. I mean, when you get a certain point, you can buy whatever you want, like a materialistic thing. But the experience, I think, outweighs that. You
Yes.
know, especially at our age,
Yeah.
like going on a trip somewhere is much, in my opinion, way
As
better
memories,
than,
yeah. The material
than
thing you
just buying-
honestly like just for at the most a day or two. Honestly.
Yeah.
You'll get something you really wanted material wise, car, phone, etc.,
But
clothes,
it
whatever.
won't fulfill you.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's not
That's
gonna
a that's a
fulfill you.
black
No.
hole that you don't want to kind of get
Yeah.
into in regards. But yes, experiences, traveling,
Yes.
meeting
Yeah.
new people,
Yes.
seeing new places, trying new food. Like I still have the taste in my mouth of going somewhere
Yeah.
and trying their food, or someone talking to me and connecting with that person on a whole different world,
Yeah.
landscape, whole different ideology.
There's so much to learn.
So much to
like
learn.
we know so little about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
world. There's so much to explore. There's so much to
I
learn.
think the person who travels all day and knows way more than the person who sat there and read all the books of all the places that other person traveled to.
Yeah.
I agree.
I want to be an old lady with a lot of stories to tell. I want to have fun stories.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
my
love
goal.
that.
I like that.
Hopefully buy a Christmas tree and presents and
Yeah.
So
I
you'll
just
be
haven't had
celebrating.
time, but I have to.
I love that.
Okay, you guys, we are wrapping up. We hope you guys have a good Christmas. We will have a couple of other episodes before Christmas, so be on the lookout for that. We want to thank Alejandra for her
Thank you for
time.
inviting
Yes,
me.
this was fun.
Thank you for
amazing.
having me.
You are you gonna come back?
Can I come back? I would love to come back.
we're gonna have you back for
Got
sure.
more to talk about.
Yes,
For
we
sure.
will. Yes, we will for sure have you back. We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
being here. Thank you for
Thank you for
taking time out of
inviting me.
your day. And that's a wrap on Weekly Deposit, episode 4. Signing out, Emran.
Peace out.
See you next week, folks.
See you. Happy holidays.
Ciao.
Thanks.
Happy holidays.
Adios.
Bye.